going to do like this.
Chief, how are you? I have a question for you after the meeting. Okay. I don't know.
Good evening and welcome to the November 18th meeting of the Hoover City Council. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Council President Lyda.
Here.
Council Pro-Tem Posey. Councilmember Swiney.
Here.
Councilmember Driver. Here. Councilmember Murphy.
Present.
Councilmember Middlebrooks.
Here.
Councilmember McClinton.
Here. With quorum present, we will proceed. If everyone would please stand for the invocation to be given by our city clerk and remain standing. And I would like to welcome Boy Scout Jacob Heitch here to come down and lead the pledge at the end of the prayer. Madam Clerk.
Heavenly Father, just please bless our city and make clarity of thought and understanding be granted. May decisions bring positive outcomes for our city, and we bring glory to your name. In the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jacob is working on his citizenship and a community badge, and he had the opportunity to spend about 15 minutes with the mayor and me prior to the meeting, ask us a lot of good, difficult questions. But Jacob meets with the troop at Discovery Methodist Church on Stadium Trace Parkway, and he's got an incredibly bright future. So would you join me in welcoming Mr. Heitch to the council? Next, I'd like to call on Mayor Brocato for his announcement. Any announcements he may have. Recognition.
Mr. President, we have Linda Moore, our Director of the 911 Center. I'd like for her to come up and say a few words, if she would.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, members of the City Council, Mayor Brocato and guests. Also joining me are Communications Manager Michael Knight and Administrative Specialist Kim Jones. The Hoover 911 Center would like to recognize one of our valuable team members, Communications Manager Colin Nelson. Colin, please come to the front so everybody can see you as I read a commendation. Also, I want to mention that here to support Colin tonight are numerous family members and 2 members from Shelby County 911. They're on the telecommunicator emergency response team. Thank you for being here. In October, Communications Manager Colin Nelson deployed to North Carolina as a member of the Alabama Telecommunicator Emergency Task Force. The task force is a specially trained group of telecommunicators located throughout the state of Alabama They respond to assist 911 centers and emergency communications during disasters. The team deployed from Madison County 911, and they were escorted by Madison County Sheriff's deputies. They took their own equipment and supplies, such as bunk trailer, food truck, to be self-sufficient because they were there for 2 weeks. And as you've all seen in the media, all of the infrastructure was just totally devastated. So they had to be self-supporting and remain self-sufficient due to the catastrophic flooding in the area. During the deployment, Colin and her team provided operational support to the communication center in Yancey County, North Carolina, one of the harder hit areas. They supported the 911 center personnel who had been working non-stop during the disaster. In addition to supporting the center, Colin and her team coordinated communications for various search and rescue teams. Leaving the city of Hoover and her family for 2 weeks, leaving the city and her family for 2 weeks to help those in need under challenging circumstances. Her specialized training in mobile and disaster communications was invaluable in meeting those operational needs and providing peer support to her team members and those in Yancey County. Your professionalism, expertise, and training enabled you to represent the City of Hoover 911 Center and the city very well. Thank you for your service, and we'll now present you with a Certificate of Merit.
Thank you, Mr. President. I felt compelled to get up tonight as the mayor. I want to reaffirm my commitment to taking responsibility and addressing the challenges that our city faces head on. We've had a number over the last 8 years. Leadership means stepping up in difficult moments, and I've done that, I believe, for the last 8 years. So tonight we'll continue to talk about the Kroll report. It could have been very easy for me to address the challenges in our accounting department internally. I chose not to do that. I brought on with your support our former CFO, Robert Yeager. His institutional knowledge was unquestionable. Mr. Yeager began to identify problems that could not be answered by our traditional audit from Barfield Murphy, BMSS, who also gave us an unqualified, which is the best audit that you can get. One of the issues found by Mr. Yeager was that certain files were missing, and he was naturally alarmed. As part of our internal investigation, the first thing we did is notify law enforcement. The city council was also informed, and he walked step by step with me as we addressed those challenges. The Kroll report was important because of the deficiencies in our accounting department, but mostly important because there were files missing. We had to know if fraud, malfeasance, or misappropriation of funds occurred. That was the key issue. The council fully supported that decision. Investigations of this nature, they require confidentiality to protect sensitive financial, personnel, and legal information. It's an investigation. That's why it was ordered through the city attorney and could not be discussed publicly until it was completed. Publicly discussing these matters in a way that compromises confidentiality could jeopardize the integrity of the investigation and expose the city to unnecessary risk. And when the findings of Kroll were presented, again, we acted immediately. I brought the findings to the city council and to the citizens, and the entire report was placed on the website and remains there today. Wendy, throw that up there for me real quick, if you would. So you go to our website, hit government, financial report, the forensic accounting review, and you can see the entire report, everything that they said, the entire report is there. Without hesitation, the staff and I worked to ensure that the issues identified were addressed openly and proactively. Many had already been addressed and closed, while others are being addressed daily. The Kroll forensic review was a review and an investigation. It was an opportunity also for a fresh start with new leadership. When we received the report, every council member had the opportunity to meet with Kroll and discuss the findings. Kroll then presented publicly in a council meeting the findings of the report. Again, this is available for review and is online. In October, our CFO, Jennifer Cornett, provided a detailed corrective action plan and continues to update the council and the public quarterly. These efforts demonstrate our commitment to accountability and transparency. So some of the key facts. The forensic review found no evidence of fraud, malfeasance, or misappropriation of funds. That is huge. That is huge. Operational challenges identified in the report have been met with decisive action, including hiring additional staff, enhancing training, and improving financial oversight. Hoover's AAA bond rating remains secure, reflecting our strong financial health. We also have a very strong financial position with 6 months operating fund. We've addressed the findings. The report has been discussed thoroughly and publicly. All questions have been asked. Any questions that have been asked, they have all been answered. Yet there's a small group that continues to distort the truth, using the Kroll report as their latest tool to divide and distract. It's no coincidence that the same small group of individuals continues to target the city and certain individuals with misleading, politically motivated attacks. This group has used council meetings, Facebook posts, computer-generated text messages and emails, bloggers, even radio ads to distort the facts and create division. When I'm talking about division, I'm talking about this group and in our city. They push baseless claims such as false allegations about problems in our schools. I think our schools were just identified as some of the top in the country just this past week. Our rising crime rate, poor trash collection, all of which have been discredited. They focus on the Kroll report as their latest platform, despite the findings being addressed thoroughly and transparently. They exploited leaked confidential information to fuel their narrative, disregarding the harm it causes to the city and to its residents. So you must ask yourself, why this relentless campaign? Why the coordinated effort to discredit those that are working tirelessly to move Hoover forward? Who's spending these thousands of dollars? And what's their motivation? I don't know. It's just part of our job. We're going to come under attack. I accept that. But my job as the leader of this city, serving the residents of Hoover, that is my sole responsibility and my sole motivation. And I think it's yours too. But I cannot do it alone. I need the cooperation of all 7 council members to move Hoover forward. Divisive rhetoric and politically motivated attacks only serve to distract us from our shared mission. You know, despite these distractions, Hoover is still thriving. Riverwalk Village, a $2.5 billion economic development project that will bring quality health care to our city and revitalize the commercial area of River Chase. It's something the last 4 mayors have tried to do. Our schools remain among the best in the state. Crime rate has dropped thanks to the hard work of our police department and our community partnerships. We've secured the SEC baseball tournament for another 5 years with a $24 million investment in the Hoover Met. $120 million interstate project is on the books. It's going to enhance connectivity and help with our growth. USA Today named Hoover one of the top cities in the country. I think over the last 8 years, we've been named one of the top cities, maybe every year of those 8 years. It happens a lot. The NCFI, our National Computer Forensic Institute, they're expanding with a $24 million expansion right here in our city. They'll bring somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 law enforcement officers from across the country. They'll come to our city, Secret Service agents, judges, city attorneys, prosecutors, where they'll train for anywhere from a week to 5 weeks in forensics. Unbelievable. It's the only one in the country. It's right here in Hoover. We have great economic development announcements. We were criticized because we were cutting ribbons. Can you believe that? We were cutting ribbons and were criticized for it. Well, let me tell you, we're going to cut one for a place called Trader Joe's. Those places, those great businesses like that don't come to cities that are not well run and have an incredible quality of life. It's because of you guys and ladies and those that have come before us. These accomplishments reflect the strength and resilience of our city and our people. These things don't happen by accident. So my commitment to you and our citizens is my door remains open. I'm willing to meet one-on-one with any resident to discuss any concerns that they have, answer questions, work together, let's find solutions. But I just can't stand the political theater of the divisiveness that's going on, the tactics to derail our progress. And it's been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So I urge everyone on the council and the community to focus on the facts, the solutions, and the progress that we've made all together. Our residents deserve leaders who prioritize collaboration over conflict, actions over accusations, and unity over division. Together, we can continue to make Hoover a city we are all proud to call home. I am. I know you are too. So I appreciate your trust and your support, and especially allowing me the time to address this situation. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I know Councilman Murphy has a special guest in the chamber he'd like to recognize.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. President. Can I have the Karson, Denson, and his family to make their way up here? So a couple of things. I know anyone has read the Hoover Sun. John did a fantastic article on Karson. He participated in Perfect Games National All-Star in Texas, where he earned the MVP title out of 360 kids around the nation. Now, if anybody know about from a business and a marketing standpoint, to go to Texas around the nation and an Alabama kid from the city of Hoover to win something of that prestigious honor, and as we know it, the Hoover Met, Perfect Games come here quite a bit, and they bring top talent and future MLB players. So I already got his autograph, so I don't worry about River card at that point, right? 13 hits, 9 RBIs, 13 stolen bases for Team Alabama. He played shortstop position for Team Alabama. 0 errors in the field of defensively. His team came runner-up to the championship, to Texas national team. Not only that, I always tell any students that I coach, Karson is a student athlete, not just an athlete, he's a student athlete. Karson make high grades in his classroom, straight A's at Robert F. Bumpers Middle School, and also he won the prestigious Finley Award recipient when he was at Deer Valley Elementary School. Last thing I want to say is I really appreciate the parents that participate as coaches. Coaching Little League is declining in certain areas because no one really has the time to get off work and go to different places to take kids to teach them not just the game but how to be young men and women and be great leaders. I called Kevin quite a bit on Fridays. I said, "What you doing? Let's go grab something to eat, man. I'm heading out of town." I said, "God, I know you probably spent my $20,000. But again, what the decline of coaches is, I'm so thankful for parents like Kevin and also his wife for understanding that without coaches, we don't have players. And without players, we don't have a great athletic organization that we have throughout the nation and also the city of Hoover. So thank you so much. And I want to just get a picture with you if you don't mind.
We're honored tonight to have newly sworn in Shelby County Commissioner Josh Sisk with us. Commissioner, congratulations on your election victory and for your swearing in, and we look forward to your service to Shelby County. So, welcome. Thank you. We're also joined, as usual, Joe Reeves, Gene Smith, and Donna Mazur, former council members. Always a pleasure to have you here. We'll now move to our next announcement. Ken Grimes is here to introduce some representatives from Amwaste.
Yes, sir, Council. Good evening. I'm going to follow that, talking trash. This was said about a month ago. We were approaching the holidays and we started talking about we wanted to give an update. But I am proud to stand here today that in the last year, my first year here, we have seen the trash pickup service come full circle to where now we are at 99.9% dependable, which has been really world class is the category that we have. And so it took us 19 months to see Amwaste get back to that point. And so over the last 19 months, we're finally back there. And so I want to introduce, and I think Rick's going to say a few words. Both of you going to say a few words. So Rick Swiney and Shadid Spence. Shadid came on board this year, and Shadid is technically, I'll just say, over Alabama. Rick's over the southeast states. And so a lot of improvements. Everything from route managers to truck drivers to technology to tremendous changes since we were here last year, trying to be very reactive to a holiday season that was very difficult. And then our largest spike in the service was obviously in March with the reroute that many of our citizens who had Saturday pickup when they saw that change. And unfortunately, a lot of challenges happened after that reroute. And Rick tells us we're not going to reroute anything else in his career. So we're good to go with the service of 4-day pickup. But I do want to commend them. I know the mayor's office, our staff have tremendously worked with them. Blake Miller is he is still and was reelected today as chairman of the Cobb Solid Waste Disposal Authority, which met this afternoon. And service is improved tremendously in all cities that are members of the authority. And so that is a wonderful thing to be able to stand here and say on behalf of Amwaste. So I want to give them credit for the work that they've done and what we're continuing to do. So Rick, come up and tell us a little bit about the holidays coming up and how you're going to address them.
Yeah, Mayor, Council, thank you. We continue to appreciate the opportunity to serve the city. As Ken pointed out, we absolutely went through some challenges, but we're proud to say that the team that Shadid and his group has put in place is performing at very high levels, and levels that we expect of ourselves at all times. Unfortunately, we didn't always experience that in the last 12 months, but feel very confident going into the holidays, particularly with the reroute change. All residents will continue to get twice-a-week service, even during the holiday weeks, which was not the case prior to the reroute that we implemented back in March, and feel really good about where we stand from an equipment standpoint, personnel, or on the plus side. And I'll let Shadid speak to some of the things that we're doing from a technology standpoint that I think will only enhance our service offering.
So for the holiday season, nothing is going to change essentially. What's going to happen is that you may see a little bit later pickup in your service because of the excess trash that we're going to encounter because of gifts and packages or whatever the case may be. But other than that, your service should remain the same. We have extra drivers, extra trucks that we will put on route as well during that time to make sure that what happened last year, previous year, doesn't happen again this year. So I'm fully confident that you guys will not see an interruption and we should be good. From a technology standpoint, we're having tablets put in the trucks. Hopefully by the end of the year, we have probably half of them right now, but we want to make sure that all the communities that we service have the same technology and go through the same process where we can track our trucks a lot better. And if we do have interruptions, we are able to notify and identify the customers immediately so they'll know, hey, we'll be there tomorrow to pick it up for you, instead of anybody guessing when we'll come back for those services. So all in all, like Ken said, we have improved the service tremendously and we'll continue to improve as we go.
And I do want to point out a couple of things that we're going to be putting out through working with Amwaste and their staff, as well as our own information. So a couple of reminders: try to have all cans at least 4 feet apart at minimum, and 4 feet away from structures such as mailboxes, light posts, and/or trees. Try not to stack any excess bagged waste and/or cardboard on top of the cans or totally against it, leaning against it, because the can has to grab with the arm. And then try to make sure, this is a simple one, keep the hinge away so when it swings up, the lid opens and it doesn't rip your lid off. So part of that is keeping the lid opening to the bottom, so that way when the truck dumps, it's a simple thing. These are things that we kind of came up with a simple slogan: is help us, help them, help you. So help us, help them, help you during this holiday season, because we know there's such an excess of cardboard and paper and waste. And it's also important to try to bag everything that goes into the cans so there's not loose paper and trash that's flying out in the winds as we have our winter season. So these are some basics. Is there anything else that's important?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. So you'll have the information going out on the city side about that. And so any questions of them?
I have a statement. First of all, Ken, thank you so much for your commitment. What was asked of you is to give the council updates. And we knew that a lot of our residents were upset, rightfully so, of missed pickups and things of that nature, and it's easy to throw the baby out with the bathwater, or you can work through the process. So I really appreciate all the hard work you have done. Also, continue to keep us updated, as you stated you would do. So thank you for your hard work in the mayor's office.
Yeah, just want to echo what Councilman Murphy said. Appreciate all the work you guys put into it. I know it's made our job a lot easier. Can you speak on the new maintenance facility? I understand that's came online and it's helped tremendously as well.
Yes, it has. So we're in the process. We're not fully there yet. We're in the process of hiring mechanics. If you don't know, it's one of probably the most difficult positions to hire for. So we're trying to get to 18. We're at about 12 right now. But even with the new influx of techs, we're able to maintain our trucks. I know there were some issues with leaks and stuff like that we were able to address as well. So just working through that process as we go.
Thank you.
Very good. Any other comments? Very good. Thank you, Judge.
And I do want to say the city has a great team of people that have worked daily on this. So everything from our administrative staff to the public works and to Blake leading the authority. So we've got a great team.
Thank you all. We'll now move to our consent agenda. Items 1 through 10 are presented as items that will be considered with one motion and one vote, unless, of course, someone would like to remove an item. These items will be read together with one vote being taken on each item unless we remove one. Any member of the body here like to remove any item 1 through 10?
Mr. President, I'd like to move item number 4 off the consent agenda so that I can abstain.
Very good. Item 4 will be removed. Any other item the body wishes to move? Any member of the public here to speak on any item? If so, we'll be happy to move them. Very good. Seeing none. Mr. Corley, if you'll read items 1 through 10 with the exception number 4, please.
Item 1 approves the payment of the bills. Item 2 is the approval of minutes from the October 31st, 2024 work session and the November 4th, 2024 meeting. Item number 3, resolution number 8330-24 approves a 020 restaurant retail liquor alcohol license for Hoover 212 LLC, doing business as Nori Hibachi Ramen and Sushi, located at 2760 John Hawkins Parkway, Suite 108, Hoover, Alabama. Item number 5, resolution 833424 authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute a transit services agreement with the Birmingham-Jefferson County Transit Authority for mass public transportation services in the city of Hoover. Resolution 833524 authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an agreement with Axon Enterprises for the Hoover Police Department and to execute any and all documents necessary for that agreement. Resolution number 833624 amends the budget for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2025 for jail improvements as shown in Exhibit A to the resolution. Item number 8, resolution 833724 amends the budget for fiscal year ending September 30, 2025 for the CBB contribution for the AHSAA volleyball tournament in the amount of $10,000 as shown in Exhibit A to the resolution. Item number 9, resolution 833824 authorizes acceptance of an award from Alabama Representative Jim Carnes for the Hoover seniors and interns working at the Hoover Senior Center for a total amount of $5,798 and amends the budget for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025 to reflect this grant as shown in Exhibit A to the resolution. Resolution number 833924 amends the budget for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025 for position changes in the Finance Department and the Human Resources Department as shown in Exhibit A to the resolution.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Motion and second. We have a motion and second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it and the motion carries. Item number 4 is resolution number 8333-24.
This resolution approves an application filed by the Healthcare Authority of the City of Hoover to file an amended and restated certificate of incorporation, expanding the board from 3 members to 5, and appoints Khristi Driver and Ken Grimes to each serve a 6-year term on the board.
Motion to approve resolution number 8333-24.
Second.
We have a motion and second for approval. Any questions or comments from the body? Any comments from the public tonight on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and with Councilor Driver abstaining. Item number 11, resolution number 8314-24, Mr. Colin.
This resolution amends the budget for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2024 for payment to Kroll Associates, Inc. for professional services rendered from the forensic review services as shown in Exhibit A to the resolution.
Motion to approve resolution number 8314-24.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any comments from the body?
Yeah, so quick, Mr. President, because I was asked this earlier, so I'm always, as a matter of fact, on things. So, couple items. I'm a firm believer when individuals performing work, they get paid for said work, and Kroll's done a fantastic job when it's come to that. I did ask the mayor publicly to give quarterly reports, and the CFO agreed to doing that she actually gave a great report early on. So quarterly, there'll be updated reports on the core report and the actionable items that came from that. So I'm always a person of my word when it comes to that piece of it, and the mayor has kept his commitment as well too. So we'll continue to get reports associated with such audit. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other comments?
Yes, sir. I had a chance to talk to the majority of council, not all, 2 o'clock today. I did have a phone call with John Slavik of Kroll, and he got my email from 2 weeks ago, and He is willing to answer all the citizens' questions. He thought for time constraints, holidays and so forth, the best way to do that would be via email, not emailing him directly, but emailing one source here. To ask the clerk to consider that. Put on the website so everybody's question can be answered. He is willing to do that. And by doing that, I don't know how long the time frame would be, probably 2 weeks to get your questions in. Those questions will be sent to Kroll, and Mr. Slavic has committed to hopefully get it done by the end of the holidays, depending how many questions there are. Some will be redundant and overlap, and put this to bed and have those citizens that do have questions to have their things relieved and go from there. Just give you an update on that.
Any other questions, comments? Any comments from the public tonight on the item? Mr. King?
Ken King, Ross Bay Parkway. I think it's disingenuous to now say, because I'm so transparent and the city's so accountable to citizens and taxpayers, that I'm gonna come up here and fall on my sword like Mayor Brocato attempted earlier and make this acknowledgement that it's much ado about nothing. It's all a political attack. The thing that sticks in my craw is the idea that they end the report with, this environment is ripe for fraud. That is the conclusion of the Kroll report. I know it's easier to say there was no malfeasance, there was no misappropriation of funds, but not Ken King's statements. This is Kroll, says the environment is ripe for fraud. Now, you could call it a political attack because I know how to read a report that says this environment is ripe for fraud. All I'm asking is 3 things. Accountability, and again, transparency, and common sense policies. I don't think that either of those 3 things are political attacks. That's the truth. When it comes to accountability, the reality of it is, the actual Kroll report itself, the forensic audit, wasn't something that came out in the light of day. We can claim, attorney-client privilege. We can claim to protect people whose names may be uncovered in the investigation, if you will. But the reality of it is that it did not go through the typical council process, approval process. It wasn't. You guys didn't necessarily vote on to pay them. You didn't. So in terms of transparency and accountability, I'm just asking, can you be a little bit more transparent and accountable? If the folks say, we'll come back and answer any questions, thank you, Mr. McClinton, that's great. At the end of the day, I have more questions. The findings in themselves are a great place to start, and thank you for your leadership. I understand the city is working towards addressing frames. But the reality of it is, there's still more. For example, what are we even paying for tonight? I would encourage you not to vote yes to pay for. Are we paying for Corley? Are we paying Kroll? The reality of it is that yes, to some degree, it's a rhetorical question because we're paying Corley. Why are we paying Corley? Why did it have to go through him? Why couldn't it go through the traditional process? The second question I would love to know is, not only paying Corley this time, but are there any other side deals that he's financed through the council right now? That's the truth. That is not a political attack. That's a reality. You don't have to answer the question. I already know. So my recommendation is, vote no. You still have an opportunity to get answers. If you vote yes, this is probably the last we hear of it. I pray, Mr. McClinton, they do in fact allow us to answer questions, but the reality of it is this. Accountability, transparency, and common sense policies isn't a political attack. And again, the report ended with ripe for fraud.
Thank you, Mr. King. Ms. Schultz.
Robin Schultz, Bluff Park. It would seem this body doesn't seem to pay attention to current events. For the past 3 months, we the people have been asking for a public hearing on the Kroll audit. For the past 3 months, you the body and you the administration have been ignoring us. 2 weeks ago, we had a vote of 3-2 to continue this same item pending a town hall meeting where we the people could ask questions from the Kroll team. Earlier in this meeting, the mayor said Kroll presented in public. He did not. John Slavic, the managing director of the investigations at Kroll, who spoke to this body on 8/19/24, said the following at that meeting after presenting the outline of the investigation. And I quote, "I would love to take questions, but unfortunately our company's policy is we cannot take questions until we issue a final report. So hopefully once that comes out later this week, we can come back to town and address any concerns." On Tuesday, November 5th, which was the day after last council meeting, I received an email from Mr. Slavic. This was in response to an email I sent him asking if he'd be open to a town hall meeting. He was open to a town hall meeting. Now, for those at home who don't know what's going on here, let's put it in context. One of you all said that, Mr. Murphy, you said that Kroll should be paid. Kroll has been paid. Kroll was not paid by this council. This council, the item that's up right now is to pay Mr. Corley, the firm that represents the city. Mr. Corley's firm paid Kroll. So Kroll has already been paid. I'm sure they won't go bankrupt by waiting another few weeks so that we can have a town hall meeting that's going to take place. We're speaking of an amount of over $234,000. We're entitled to ask questions about that. I'm confident you have questions as well. We're in 2023, there was a discussion about public safety vehicles and during a council meeting. Mr. Posey indicated that $1,200 to $1,700 per vehicle difference was a huge amount that the city would have to pay. Mr. Lyda said to Chief Durses, we're responsible for the fiscal health of the city, and we the people are responsible to ask questions. I want to address one thing about the comments that the mayor made. I'm not affiliated with any group. I'm affiliated with me. Yep, I'm affiliated with me. You can shake your head all day long. It's not going to change it. I'm affiliated with me. 4 weeks ago, I said to you, let's have a town hall meeting where we can discuss transparency. And your response was, my definition of transparency and yours are different.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other comments tonight? Yes, sir.
Mayor, Council, my name's Paul Hamrick. I'm a resident of 119 Cahaba area of Hoover. I was here 2 weeks ago and got up and spoke on this matter, and there's been some changes in circumstances, and I just felt obligated to come advise you of those. I now actually represent several individuals, individual taxpayers at Hoover, who have some issues and questions about different financing matters. I dropped off with the city clerk's office this morning a public records request. Councilman, we may can end up adding some emails to what you're talking about also, if there's not going to be a public hearing. But I want to assure everyone here that I'm looking forward to working with the clerk expeditiously as possible to get this public information request honored. As everyone here knows, I'm sure, Alabama has a new law in effect that took effect October 1 regarding public document requests. And I think this is a good opportunity to put that to use, and I look forward to working with the clerk's office or anyone y'all direct me to.
Thank you, Mr. Hamrick. Ms. Mazur.
Donna Mazur, Hoover. I haven't been to many council meetings, but the ones that I have been to have disgusted me. I was here when Ms. Driver voted against something that Mr. Lyda said. He didn't know his mic was on.
Ma'am, do you have a comment about the Kroll report? We're getting good comments that may be better for public comments, if we want to hold those. If it's strictly about Kroll, that's the item before the council.
That's the only thing. I was told this was public comments.
This is for the Kroll item only. I'm sorry, Ms. Mazur, we will have public comment at the end of the meeting. I know.
Go right ahead.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Any other comments specifically about paying the bill for Kroll? Thank you for your understanding of that. I do want to clarify, the false statement was made that Kroll has not been paid. I'm sorry, that has been paid. Kroll has not been paid. Okay, so I want the members to realize that when false statements are made like that, we've got to clarify that. So you're voting to pay Kroll. They have not been paid. We have a motion and second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The ayes have it, the motion carries. We'll now move to item number 12, resolution number 8325-24, Mr. Colin.
This resolution authorizes abatement of a weed and vegetation nuisance at 425 Shades Avenue.
Motion to approve resolution number 8325-24.
Second. We have a motion and second for approval. Any comments from the body? Any updates, Mr. Martin?
As of today, this property is still a nuisance in need of abatement.
Very well. Any comments from members of the public tonight regarding the 425 Shades Avenue address? Very good. We have a motion and second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Item 13, resolution number 8326-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes abatement of a weed and vegetation nuisance at 2337 Tyler Road.
Motion to approve resolution number 8326-24.
Second. Have a motion and second for approval. Mr. Martin, any update on this property?
As of today, this property also is still in need of abatement.
Very good. Any questions or comments from the body? Anyone from the public here to speak on the Tyler Road property? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The ayes have it, the motion carries. Item 14, resolution number 8340-24, Mr. Kroll.
This resolution declares as a public nuisance the conditions allowed to exist on the property located at 3766 Abbey Glen Way, Hoover, Alabama, and authorizes the city attorney to file and maintain a civil action in a court of competent jurisdiction to enjoin and abate this public nuisance.
Motion to approve resolution number 8340-24.
Second. We have a motion and a second for approval. Any comments from the body? Mr. Martin, any update on that property?
Just that we respectfully ask the council to assist us with this nuisance declaration so that we can engage the court as well as the property owner and get the issue resolved. It is having a negative adverse impact on the larger neighborhood as far as odors, unsightliness, vermin, and we need to get the issue resolved.
Very good. As we discussed at work session, this is a unique one. Thankfully, the city does not have to deal with it often. Any questions for Mr. Martin on this one? Any member of the public here to speak on this particular address? Very good. We have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. We'll now open it up for council comments.
Just one, Mr. President, hopefully it'll take place the first meeting in December. We'll do it January. And I want to thank the mayor. I've been working with city attorney quite a bit on the stormwater long-term master planning. So hopefully December or January, the goal is to give a presentation on what that looks like for the city and as we proceed moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Mr. President. Mr.
Mr. Lyda, I want to apologize to you. When I tried to explain the Robert Rules of Order at the last meeting, and if it came across that my intention was any wrongdoing on your behalf, that was not my intent, and for that I apologize. Now, that does not excuse unprofessional behavior after the meeting, but I wanted to offer that apology to you. I believe a private email to this body and Hoover leadership was shared with the media. That is equally disheartening to me that was shared. As the mayor pointed out, we have got to work together for this city, and we all are encouraging open communication. But without that trust, that's very hard to do. So I encourage us all to work harder and recommit ourselves, as the mayor said, to this city. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna, Middlebrooks, and I'll extend the same to you as well. Certainly, things could have been different there, so my apologies. Yes. Any further questions or comments from the body? Ms. Mazur, thank you for your patience. You're first for public comment.
I started to say, I saw Mr. Lyda because Ms. Driver voted against him. He didn't know his mic was on, and he said to her, "How dare you vote against me?" The second meeting that I was at was when you took a man and embarrassed him in front of all the people who were here. For 25 years, this man has done what he could, and I'm talking about Mr. Kadish. When you called him a convicted felon, no one knew about it. I'm going to say that Mr. Corley probably is the one who found out about Mr. Kadish because that was closed. Now, he was okay to do the first phase of Stadium Trace until along came the Riverwalk. And all of a sudden, Mr. Kadish was a convicted felon. And you, Mr. Lyda, stated that you will not do business in the city of Hoover with a convicted felon. That was on the news. You wouldn't let Mr. Kadish speak. You told him, "Sit down. We don't want to hear from you." I didn't understand that. The third one was 2 weeks ago when you went over to Mr. Middlebrooks and you did what you did to him. Mr. Lyda, you are a bully. This is from junior high school, not today, not the adult that you're supposed to be. You're a bully. You're a bully to everyone on this council, and you're a bully to everyone in this audience. I tonight am standing here and asking for your resignation as the council president because you don't deserve it. Mr. Middlebrooks apologized to you. I didn't hear you say one word about apologizing to him for what you did to him. You're a bully, Mr. Lyda, and don't deserve to be the Hoover City Council president.
Thank you, Ms. Mazur. Always a pleasure to have you. Next, please.
John Kerr, Black Ridge. I want to take just the first part of my time to re-recognize the young men from the Boy Scouts and the important work that those young men are doing in our community. It reminds me that we have to do better for young men like that, who are trying to get it right, and they come here, and man, sometimes I don't know if we're presenting the best example. My comments tonight are about last week's events that took place after the meeting, where some of us spoke about the need for transparency and accountability. I'm not a member of any group. I've never paid for a radio spot. I don't know what a blogle is. I don't know about any of that. But I want my city council to be transparent, and I want them to be accountable. I say that humbly, without political affiliation. I'm not a member of any Republican, Democrat party. Doesn't matter to me. I just want you to be accountable. I just want you to say, we made a mistake with money. Here's what it is. Here's what we're doing to fix it. Here's how it happened. Here's who we held accountable. There is no private company in the world that doesn't abide by those rules. Our government should too. I don't want to hear calls for unity, leadership, respect from our government until you guys can figure that out. We saw a lack of unity, a lack of respect after the meeting last week, including I saw the mayor when he was walking out point to the gentleman who asked for transparency and say, you want me to be transparent, you're not transparent. That's not being a leader. That's not standing up for your citizens. That's attacking citizens who say they have problems. The Board of Education was mentioned in the speech at the beginning of this meeting. I need to mention this. This board has zero oversight over the Board of Education. Who do we come to with problems on this board when we have problems with the Board of Education? You know the answer, it's no one. We've asked all of you, you all say we have no oversight over that committee. Who appoints the Board of Education? You do. Do you see the problem there? We have a closed loop with zero accountability. And if your answer is because of all the great things that happen in Hoover City Schools, there are no problems in Hoover City Schools, you are either part of the problem or you're not paying attention. Okay? We have problems, and when we come to you, we don't want to be made the villain because we call out the problem. We don't want to be called divisive because we're calling out problems. These are our kids in these schools. These are our citizens in these streets. We should fight for our kids. The fact that Hoover City Schools is good doesn't mean it can't be better. Which one of you can I come to with my problems there? None. But you appointed all of them. You see the problem? Accountability. That's all we're asking for. Accountability.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comments, Mr. Curt?
Robin Schultz, I'm going to make this short. I want to address one additional comment that the mayor made in the beginning of the meeting. He pointed at you all and said, you all make this city great. Those people back there are what make the city great. Okay? Not you all. They do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. Any other comments? Very good. Thank you all for your attendance. We're adjourned.